there. Click on live chat. Go to multi-stream. Okay. All right. We see it? You see it, monkey? You scratchy little patchy? You scratchy little patchy, huh? Oh, yeah. Get the scratches. You're just a sweetheart. Okay, hello everybody. How's it going? Right off the bat, Monkey Butt here, who's just now slinking off of her ottoman. She had her medical checkup today. Her platelets are totally normal, so stopping her last round of medication seemed to do the job. She's got the all clear. Her next appointment is first week of November. They're going to do x-rays to make sure that there's no tumors anywhere and that we're still in the clear. So yay, we got good news, and I don't have to go to the vet for a couple months, which is so nice, because I'm now out of monkey cash from the GoFundMe, so everything else is out of pocket at this point. So it's gotta make sure I've got $600 or $1,000 to pay for whatever she's got coming in November. Yeah. So news came out. O'Keefe Media, who I don't necessarily trust O'Keefe Media. They've done some really shady shit in the past. But for some reason, they're now turning on Republicans. And they got Joseph Schnitt, a deputy chief at the Department of Justice, to admit on camera that the Department of Justice is actively redacting the names of Republicans and conservatives from the Epstein files and leaving the names of everyone else. While that's been happening, Thomas Massie today announced that what's his name? Paul. John Paulson, that's his name. John Paulson, who's a gigantic super donor. I mean, he's donated like hundreds of millions of dollars to Republican campaigns, is in the Epstein files as somebody who Epstein funneled girls to for him to sexually abuse. It seems readily apparent from the press conference yesterday of the survivors and victims of Epstein that they are going to release their own list. They're going to confer with lawyers, put down names on a list of everyone who did anything to them. And remember, there's more than 100 of these women who have come forward. And there's also folks who worked for Epstein who have come forward. People who, did gardening or worked as butlers or maids, transportation folks, plumbers. These folks have also come forward with names and what they've seen. So expect more fallout from this. I don't agree with 85-90% of the things Thomas Massie supports. I do not agree with. I do think what he's doing here takes a lot of chutzpah to go against the Republican establishment and to be willing to basically throw away his political career, because he's getting primaried really hard in his home district in Kentucky. And Trump has basically promised to primary anybody who goes against him on this. So you can kind of kiss your political career goodbye at this point if you stand up for what's right. So, more power to him in this respect. I think there's a lot of folks who, I don't know how to phrase this, who will sell out a lot of other people and for the most part have no moral qualms about doing so, but even they will draw the line at child sexual predators. And those folks, they've done all sorts of bad shit, but even they have some sort of limit, right? There's a limit, we'll do bad things, but I'm not going to do that. And so those guys coming forward and taking stands on this, I think is very, very important. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a trash person. But she's a woman, so obviously she's probably been the victim of sexual assault, as half of all women have at some point. And she's sort of drawn a line in the sand. She will be an absolutely terrible garbage person for everything in her life, but on this issue, she seems to be stepping forward and willing to take on the establishment. Now, she seems to still be under the the belief that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, despite the fact they were best friends for 15 years and raped a 13-year-old together and did all sorts of gross things. But at least she's taking that step. What else is happening? GameStop got pushed down again today. Applied volatility is still very high for next week, still over 90%, which means that the options are 10 times more expensive than they were at this time last week. Marcus Lemonis pushed the TZero board to get a new CEO. They announced that they got a new CEO today. I don't know anything about the guy. I haven't had a chance to really look into it yet. The U.S. government, the DoJ is really scrambling to try and explain why they essentially just vaporized 11 people on a fishing boat 1,000 miles away from the U.S. Shore, claiming that they're drug runners when they could have been refugees fleeing. They could have been fishermen doing their job. It did not appear that that was the type of boat that could carry a significant weight of drugs, especially when cartels have like submarines and things like that they use. I don't understand why Don Jr. gets to make the call for these folks to be extrajudicially murdered. Like, he's not in the government. He's not a member of he's not part of the government. Doesn't hold office anywhere. Like, why is he one making this call? Our MO was to stop these boats. Send out a Navy ship, a Coast Guard vessel, Coast Guard cutter, and they stop the boats and they seize the drugs and they arrest the people on board. Why are we just zapping them from a drone from 40,000 feet? That type of stuff is wrong. And I don't know what type of justification, where the lawyers were at the Department of Defense on this one, because under any other presidency, this would not have been a thing. So, leaves a bad taste in my mouth. That's all I got for now. So, boop boop. Super chat just came in. Stephanie L. Yo there, Monkey Butt. Do you get taxed on the super chats? I don't think Monkey Butt gets taxed on them. No. Do I? Yes. The bill for the no tips on tax explicitly had language in it that any super chats, tips, things like that through social media are taxed. So yes, I get taxed on it. YouTube takes a cut. YouTube takes like 30 cents of every dollar on it, and I get the rest, and then I get taxed on that. So yeah, I pay taxes on it. It seems to me like it should fit under, like, tips should fit under gift rules, where you can accept up to $26,000 in gifts from an individual and not face taxes on it. I don't see why it can't be seen as a gift, but I don't make the rules. They do. So yeah, we get taxed on it. Come on, man. All right, there we go. So there. To the chat, Hazel A was first. Chris Taylor, win play show. Hey, wait. Oh my goodness. Did you guys notice that the chat names went back to the original chat names? They're not doing the weird numbers and so because it's Stephanie L, it's back to Stephanie L. Whoa. And Lone Wolf's back to Lone Wolf. And Iggy Lemonis back to Iggy Lemonis. Everybody's back to the normal names again. So YouTube must have fixed whatever glitch there was there. Now if they can only fix the Charity Tuesdays. And so we can do that. So Hazel A first. Chris Taylor, win, place, or show. Kelly Reed third. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. USA now has more unemployed people than job openings. Who are we going to blame, Biden or Obama? Yeah, it's definitely Obama's fault that there are now more Americans looking for work. Job losses or layoffs for August are the highest they have been since COVID. Almost 100,000 layoffs happened in August. That does not bode well for the economy as a whole. Not a good sign that manufacturing is down, ag is down, housing's down, Commercial real estate's down. Tourism's down. Jobs are down. While inflation is up and the dollar is also down. Yeah, I think we're getting closer to comeuppance day on this one. It's Rose Productions 5th. No, you were 4th. Alex Bishop, hi everyone. Bacon. Another day of no BBY news. At this point, I think we're going to get a Game of Thrones Red Wedding set up with a dash of Ocean's 11. Who's going to be casted to play you in the movie, to be honest? Dylan Francis will be me. He just has to cover up his tattoos. Other than that, he's my brother from another mother, apparently. Yeah. First Day Productions. The new TZero CEO has Goldman Sachs connections. The fix is in, isn't it? Everyone at TZero works for exchanges or investment banks. Everyone on the board, all the C-level executives, they all work for traditional groups. TZero, what Marcus Lemonis needs to do at TZero is he needs to have like a Susan Trimbath type person on the board. They need to have somebody who sees the current system, thinks it's dog shit, and wants to overthrow it all. That's where TZero will make its name. Because what you want with TZero is you want to take a traditionally traded stock that's been hammered by shorts, take all of their shares and blockchain it, and show the world what happens when all those folks are forced to close their shares. Because that will get every single solitary OTC stock and every Russell 2000 XRT stock will be like, oh, let's go to TZero, right? And then all of a sudden TZero will have hundreds of customers, of people being willing to be listed on their exchange. What they're doing right now is they're kind of doing it like, well, it's like a glorified Kickstarter way of raising money. No one gives a shit. Put the shares, digitize them, stick them on the blockchain so they can't be fudged, and go from there. But Marcus Lemonis is like, we should take TZero and do an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. You dummy. The entire point is to remove things from the New York Stock Exchange where things can be manipulated and put it into a blockchain where it cannot be manipulated. It's like the only useful purpose for a blockchain in existence. And you want to take your own company, which is trying to usurp the fact that these exchanges are just corrupt piles of crap, and you want to take this thing and put it on that exchange. That's dumb. That's really dumb. Do you think New York Stock Exchange is like, well, maybe we're going to go to NASDAQ? No. Why would you take your exchange and put it on someone else's exchange? It's stupid. It's dumb. Don't do that, you idiot. God, you're such a bonehead sometimes. So just get somebody who's been shorted a whole bunch. Get someone. I don't care who it is. It could be any company, NWBO, it could be GNS, it could be GameStop, it could be just Nokia, BlackBerry. Take one of those companies that have been heavily shorted, put them onto TZero where they're blockchained. Just find someone to be that example and watch the value of their stock explode as a result of the shorts not being able to play their naked shorting game anymore. And it will show the entire purpose of that system. So do that. I don't do that, right? You can do that. You have the ability, so just fucking do it. Anywho, something else said in the super chat here. What we got? I'm not so sure Republicans primaried by Trump will lose. There's a ton of MAGA regret. Thoughts? There is a ton of MAGA regret. The problem I see is money. Is that if all the money for these campaigns is coming from MAGA sources, they might not be able to finance their way out of this. Because we know money talks in these elections. Not necessarily like chutzpah or character or presence or charisma or any of those things. It's like basically who has the most money are the ones that pull ahead. So if if Trump is able to put his thumb on like the local party so that someone like Thomas Massie wouldn't even be able to run as a Republican, then he's going to have to run as a Democrat. Then he's running against, someone who definitely truly is anti-Republican. And you get into this, I don't know, you get into a tough zone there. If all the Republicans turn against Trump right now, I think they're fine. I think they can crush him, but they're too scared. They're too big of weenies to do it, so they're not going to. And Karen Mercer, here's an extra for inflation. Please give Monkey a treat. Or a treer. I'll give her a treer. How about that? Monkey butt. Monkey butt. Monkey butt. There's like 2.5 left. Hey. Dog. Hey, dog. You want pig ear? Come on. Come get it. Yeah, come get it. Come on. Now walk all the way around. Walk all the way around. Come on. Put your little nose up there. There, we can see your nose. Come on. Bring it over here. Put your nose right there. There it is. All right. Nom, 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 nom. Thank you, Cameron. Paul Couch, Republican Congressman Massie gave name to John Paulson in the files. Yeah. Big deal. Big deal. I do not care what political affiliation somebody is in the Epstein files. I do not care. If they were client Epstein, string them up. Throw the book at them. Whatever. We don't need you. I know I've talked about this before. Especially like in relation to entertainment and things like that. Like, I can be entertained by somebody. But if I find out that somebody is a giant piece of trash, their craft is now tainted for me and I can't enjoy it. I don't enjoy Bill Cosby anymore, even though Bill Cosby was like a god to me as a child. He's a piece of trash. I don't want to even attempt to enjoy his craft anymore. I don't want to watch his movies, his TV shows, listen to his comedy albums, read his books. I don't want it. He's dead to me as far as I'm concerned, right? The same thing for trash people who are politicians. If you're out there and you're doing works, and I agree with your works, and I think you're doing an awesome job, and it turns out you're raping kids, I don't need you. There's somebody else who can do an awesome job who isn't out there raping kids. It's that simple. Anthony Weiner, I thought, was a phenomenal politician. I thought he was doing a lot of good work. It turns out he's a pederast who sends his dicks to 15-year-olds on the internet. I don't need him anymore. Gone. Poof. Go to jail. Go wherever. Just leave. We don't need you in this business anymore. Andrew Cuomo apparently has forced himself on all the women. Does lots of sexual harassment. We don't need him as mayor of New York City. He can just fuck off. Somebody else can be a rather crappy centrist politician instead of him. We can take crappy centrist politicians who don't sexually harass or rape women. We don't need that. So, I don't care what your political persuasion is, what team you fight for. If you're doing something like that, you need to be removed from society, period. And somebody else who isn't a trash person can take over the role you once had. Done. What I'm afraid is going to happen is they'll name both sides, people on both sides. The Democrats will absolutely kick everyone out of leadership who was involved. They will just be like, you out, you're gone, you're done for, we don't talk to you again, charges filed, whatever. On the Republican side, I do not have any confidence they will do that. Instead, what they will do is they'll make excuses. They'll say it was a witch hunt. They will do all these things. They'll do all the stuff they did with Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, we have proof through his Venmo social media that he was paying a pimp money for sex with children. We have that, and it's out there. And the Republicans didn't do anything about it. Matter of fact, Trump wanted to make him attorney general. So, I don't have faith that on that side they're willing to eat their own to cull the crappy people out of their ranks. I just don't see it happening. I mean, Denny Hastert was a rapist. He was a super rapist. He finally went to prison only after he retired, right? You have folks like Jim Jordan, who knew full well that the team doctor was raping and molesting his wrestlers, and was just like, that's okay. I'll just pretend it isn't happening, and then tried to suppress his own wrestlers from coming forward with the information. He still has a leadership position in the Republican Party. No one seems to care, right? So let's get right. Just get rid of them. Did I miss super chat here? Cameron says The Rock lost 60 pounds. Yeah, I saw a photo of him at some opening thingy, and he lost all weight. So did Dave Bautista. Basically, these dudes are in their 50s, and their doctors probably went to him like, buddy, if you keep going this hard, your heart's going to explode. You're going to die before you're 60. Arnold Schwarzenegger at age 50 had to basically get his entire heart rebuilt. I think he had to replace like 4 valves or something in his heart. And that was a big deal. And when you get that big, you do that much workout, your chest cavity gets huge, right? So your heart has this room to swell, and it can cause all sorts of heart problems. My friend Brett, who had a heart replacement, he was a power lifter. He was a workout 2 to 3 hours a day, every day. Big barrel-chested dude, just right, doing squats and bench presses and stuff all day long, and that was part of the reason why he had the heart attack. Was he already had genetic disposition to congenital heart failure, and he combined with the fact that his chest cavity was so large, his heart became this giant enlarged thing, and that's what did him in. So I'm sure that Bautista and The Rock, like the amount of fucking dry chicken they have got to eat, the stuff they have to inject, the hours a day they have to spend working out, it's a lot. Like, you can go for fitness level, still be a handsome devil, and just not be like, built like a fire hydrant. So yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for losing weight. The Rock, I forget what movie he was filming, but it was about 15 years ago. He blew out his Achilles tendon while filming some movie, and wasn't able to work out like he did. And I remember him going on Saturday Night Live, and he looked skinny because he wasn't able to work out like he was while he had like the surgery and recovery and everything. And I was like, what the hell happened to The Rock? And a few years later, he's like, just big giant balloon again. So yeah, you don't need to be that big. I mean, some people are freakishly natural kind of like that, but it's just too much. I don't know. I don't blame them. And the Karen Mirza here is for the 2 pieces left for Monkey Butt. Is she going to want all the rest of them? They are kind of small. We're going to finish up the pig ears. It's actually 2.5. So we will put all of them right here. Right there. And then you're going to go in the trash. 1, 2.5. Ready? Are you ready? Here you go. Munch it up. Okay. Crunch it. Get that crunch. There it is. There's the crunch. Okay. All right, where was I? Way back up here. I gotta scroll back up top. That's bacon. First Day Productions, the new TZero. Oh, it did that one. Paul Couch did that one. Eaglemon, First Day Productions. I think it's a distraction tactic at this point, so shareholders of the original BBY and Overstock think something is happening while someone buys more time. Yeah, it might just be like kind of rearranging some chairs. Matthew Jackson, 1,000 days in on MMTLP since they got delisted or halted. It just seems like a horrible dream with no real solution. I was talking to my brother the other day, or yesterday, about this, actually, because they all came over for barbecue. That I think what needs to happen is the MMTLP leadership, McCabe and others, they need to be much more aggressive in the courts. They need to sue the ever-living crud out of the University Lands Board for removing their lease, for revoking their lease. They need to just sue the shit out of them and get a giant settlement in court that involves either huge amounts of cash or get their lease back. No other options. They need to sue all the brokerages for tallies of how many MMTLP shares they had at the time of the halt. Just sue every single one of them. Get a tally from that. Don't spend the time with the SEC and FINRA because they've got the immunity. Sue the brokers themselves. And I think they need to do a lot more legally in that respect. Just getting the information they got from TradeStation alone gives them enough reason to take on Fidelity and Schwab and E-Trade and Goldman and JP Morgan, everyone else. Just do it. Just do it. Sitting around being like, whoa, is there going to be some payout someday? It's not going to do anything. You got to be active. You got to be an absolute just dick. Got to be a dick. And I don't think they're doing enough dick things to be a thorn in everyone's side. And I don't know why. I don't know what's keeping them from doing that. They got some leases that they're still working on. They're doing some like cash deals and blah blah blah. That's not gonna get them the 130,000 acres back that they should have. Oh, did you get it? Did you get it, monkey? Oh, you didn't get it. So close. There's a fly, and she should have gotten it, but 3 legs and all. Get it, monkey. Matthew Jackson, thoughts on Ulti? Weekly dividend is nice. Ulti? I don't know Ulti. Do I know Ulti? Ulti. Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF. It's $5. What are the dividends on it? Ulti dividends. Looks like about 9 cents every week. 9 to 10 cents every week. So that's 40 cents a month for a stock that's $5. So looks like it does. There's 11 cents there. 46 cents back in March. Damn, 50 cents, 70 cents. So basically prior to March, it was 40. Oh, it was $1.30 back then, June. So it was doing $1 or more back at this time last year. It's doing about 10 cents right now. What was the price history back then? Max. So looks like it's got, oops, Chrome. Okay, so when was this? This was March of last year. It was $20. Giving out dividends and just shaving it down. So this time it was giving out about $1. So $15 was giving out about $1.50 per week, right? $1.50 per week, and then it was down to like 50 cents a week, and then it was down to about 10, 11 cents a week. So is decaying quite fast. My guess is they'll probably do a reverse split at some point, as they do with some of these kind of option income strategy stuff. But it's paying out 135% a year. But it's only been around for a year. So if you invested your $20, you probably got it back and then some. And with each dividend, you're buying back about 2% on it each week. So 2% a week, it gives you another 100% plus a year. So the returns, not too shabby. So I don't know how long it will last. It's a fairly new ETF. I mean, it's only been around since March of last year. But yeah, took a steady, big drop in March. Went from like 50, 60 cents every week to about 10, 11 cents since then. Yeah, I mean, these type of things that we should all be invested in, get our guaranteed returns. Instead, we've thrown $1 gajillion at a stock that's 25% lower than it was 4 years ago. And our CEO doesn't seem to be doing anything to make the stock price go up. He's done things to make the company more solid, but that's not been reflected yet in the shareholder value. So shareholder value versus not shareholder value. Ah, crap. Monkey butt. It's all your fault. You did this. Should have given you all those treats. Because it's all your fault. Right? You heard me. You heard me, little dog. You heard me. Come here, you squishy little dork. Scratchy ears. They're so scratchy. I wish my ears could get scratched like that, right? I'd probably rip my ears off my head. They're very delicate. Can they read? One of Epstein's survivors, a Trump voter, just asked the question, why is Trump not allowing us to release the list? Who is he protecting? The rape survivor voted for rapist. Virginia Giuffre, who committed suicide back in April, supposedly committed suicide, although her family doesn't think so. She endorsed Trump. And yet there's other survivors who are like, Trump raped me, along with Epstein. So, I do wonder, like, Trump said during the election he would release all the Epstein files. He said Epstein's a terrible person, blah, blah, blah. And since then, it's come to light that he doesn't want to release them. That Epstein was his best friend for 15 years. And they did all sorts of shady shit together. So, I feel like that victim was duped. She was duped into it, that she thought she was getting something and she got something else entirely. And that'd be my guess. It's happening right there. This country's beyond stupid. Yes. First Day Productions. Thanks, Iggy. Wheat Wild, HW. Coming to the States in October for 2 weeks. Bring on Mexican Coke, Chipotle, Costco, and a ton of delicious ethnic foods. Also gonna try and catch a game or a show. Fantastic. You can visit your family in is it Pittsburgh? This is Pennsylvania, I think. Well, you won't have any October baseball in Pittsburgh. You will in Philadelphia. So yeah, get the food, get the Mexican food, man. Get it while you can. It is, when I travel abroad, the thing I probably miss most, other than monkey butt, right, is Mexican food. That is something. If we do get a giant win, we get a huge giant just flood of cash, right? And we're rich beyond our wildest dreams. And I step out and I move, I don't know, to Italy or Spain or whatever. Southern France, I don't know. I think I may have to invest in my own Mexican restaurant so that I can have access to burritos and quesadillas and enchiladas and everything else. And I don't know if I'll make my own import-export company to get all the proper ingredients in, but I'll do something. Because the itch that needs to be scratched in Mexican food is very deep. My old roommate, Mark, he's a British guy from England, from west of England. And he lived in the U.S. for 8 years before he went back to go visit people. And his accent was all messed up and everything. He went back to go visit his family for 2 or 3 weeks. And he said the entire time he was there, he was just like, I need a burrito. I don't know how I lived without them. And the first thing he did when we picked him up from the airport on his way back was he went to Gordillo's and got a baby-sized burrito. And get a t-shirt for that too if you eat the baby-sized burrito at Gordillo's. The sister restaurant was in Hilo, Lucy's, and I got the t-shirt for eating the baby-sized burrito at Lucy's. It was autographed by some Hawaiian chick with like 45 names, Ocean something or other. Yeah, so get it while you can, man. And 9 says, yo. Fred Jones says, I fear the BBY will be MMTLP. I mean, that's very possible that we could be stuck in this limbo forever and then just fade away into nothingness, and then that's it. And 9 TZero acted on Lemonis' CEO change, but the new guy is a previous Goldman Sachs guy. Yep. Go to K. See you in 4 years. Okay. ECB. SPY and BAC can only go up. Reverse repo always seems to refill. Japan carry trades never pop. Delayed tactics will have leave most without any shares sadistic looking on sidelines. You know, the SPY will go up until it doesn't. Um, there's a definite money crunch coming. Like, you know, we did $500 billion of deficit spending in August. $500 billion in deficit spending in August. That's after $250 billion in July. The only reason we didn't do insane deficit spending leading up to July was that we hit the debt ceiling and we basically had no money to spend on stuff. We're now blown through cash like nobody's business with really stupid shit like ICE and DHS and whatnot, and building all these private prisons, and we're wasting money like nobody's business. And we're carving out a huge chunk of our national GDP while doing it. So we're spending money to lose money, basically. It's going to hit us. There are now more homes for sale than there are buyers. There's more people looking for jobs than there are jobs, right? None of this is sustainable. It's something's going to push it over the edge, and I do not think that there's enough competency in this White House to tinker and manipulate to keep it going. And when it does finally crash, they aren't going to know what to do and how to fix it. They're really incompetent. They don't know what the fuck's going on, and they know how to manipulate in the moment to generate a whole bunch of money by doing puts and calls on the SPY, etc. But as far like long-term health, I don't think that's a concern of any of them. So, yeah, I'm just gonna sit there going, I'm Fred Jones, but maybe RC will bail us out. Maybe not. That's true. And 9, RC's magical pedestal that people put him on. RC can't be in it for himself because he takes no salary. Cough. What would you argue against that? People can't see past that. It's like saying Pulte gave away money on Twitter for the goodness of his heart. He did it to gain a following. Billionaires don't need incomes. They have giant investment portfolios. Those giant investment portfolios they can borrow against. And when they borrow against it, they borrow at an interest rate much lower than the rest of the folks. So if you have, let's say you have $1 billion, or in Ryan Cohen's case, $4 billion, right, of assets. When you borrow against that, you can borrow $4 billion or more against that. And you'll pay maybe a 2% interest rate with no date when you have to pay back the principal. So you can keep spending that $4 billion. Meaning you can borrow that $4 billion, you can spend it, you can invest it into ultra options income strategy ETF and make 135% a year on it, right? And you're only paying 2%, so you're just getting free money, right? They can borrow in ways you and I never can, and they never have to pay it back. They can basically borrow, spend, die. That's actually the term for it, is borrow, spend, die. And you don't pay taxes on any of that. So when he's like, oh, I'll take a salary, that's because you can borrow $4 billion in cash and never have to pay it back. You don't need a salary. You've got billions of dollars in cash. So for me, the thing I hope for is that Ryan Cohen wants to be a legend. That's it. That he has some desire, need, want to be this legend that everyone is ascribing to him. So far, he's done some interesting things. You know, his initial investment in GameStop piqued everyone's interest. That forced a FOMO. That FOMO caused a squeeze. The stock price rocketed. They were able to dilute into that, pay off all of their debts, and be a solvent company from that point forward. And since then, he's utilized the investor base, the fervent, rabid investor base, to repeatedly dilute into the market when the price spikes and make a bunch of money off of us for GameStop. But at the same time, the price of GameStop is lower than it was when most of us invested. So where is the shareholder benefit in that? We still need that shareholder value. He talks about generating shareholder value. Give me the shareholder value. Because all this stuff, the $10 billion or whatever on the books at GameStop, has not translated to shareholder value yet. So make that part happen. let the stock rip. Let it rip. Just let it rip. Let it go. Let it do its thing. Right? Let the market do its thing on the stock. You don't need to sell into it. You have $10 billion cash. Who gives a shit? Let it rip. Because the stock right now is not worth much more than it was when you had $1 billion in cash. So just let it rip. Let it rip. Give us some shareholder value. Let it happen. And then 9 says, what's the new hype date? 30th? Yay. Yeah, 30th, whatever. I don't know. Yogi, what do you think of James O'Keefe video you shared? I'll have to dig into it more because, again, like O'Keefe has gotten busted for selectively editing things, claiming people on video were different people than they are, setting them up to, like, you know, say things that they can edit in a way that aren't true. So I will, at the moment, take it with a grain of salt, but I wouldn't put it past the Trump administration to have folks at the DoJ do just that, to put black lines through the names of all their friends. And because that's what they do. I mean, look at what Pulte's doing. Pulte's going after Fed board member Cook, right, for supposedly committing mortgage fraud. And when pressed about it with what's his butt in Texas, who has 3 homes that are all primary residences, the AG, Boho McGee, the guy that just got busted cheating on his wife and all these things, Pulte's like, that's a private matter. And then today an article came out, and was it Bloomberg, about 3 different cabinet members in the Trump White House who have multiple homes that are primary residences, and Pulte's not going to go after them, right? Because that's not what you do in an authoritarian regime. If you're a member of the regime, you can commit any crime you want. The moment you are on the outs, that's when they'll go after you. You ever watch The Death of Stalin? Really brilliant, hilarious movie. But there's a member of the party politic who is a pedophile. And everyone is totally fine with it. They're just like, oh, it's him. He's just a pedophile, right? And he's always like abducting little girls and doing horrible things. And it only became a concern when he wanted to become the head of the party, and he was seen as like, no, you can't do that. And then they used the crimes they've known about for a long time to have him executed, right? You can commit any crime you want so long as you're part of the system. It's those who are outside the system that you must be perfect. And if you aren't perfect, you're toast, right? So that's what I see that's going. And 9, other news, how was the barbecue yesterday? Also, names are back to what they were before. Weird. Yeah, very weird. Barbecue's delicious. We still have like 20 hamburgers left, so maybe we'll get one more in before the weather changes forever and get everybody fed. ECB, guess RC will make a deal with 180 plus institutions now invested in GME that won't benefit common retail. No sell instructions clause for 10 years or something like that for forgiveness of their shorts. I don't know. We'll see. I prefer my companies owned by retail. Retail should get a seat on the boards of these companies. When AMC theaters was doing well was when retail owned 85% of it. Now that retail owns a teeny amount of AMC, how's AMC doing? Right? So I like my companies to be owned by retail. N9, Tesla is a robot company now. Question mark. So we can ignore all the crap sales with the cars and the stocks keep rising. Elmo has to be using that 50 billion or whatever he got to keep it rising. Pretty much. So just this week, Tesla lost the right to test the robotaxi in Austin streets. When they pick people up, they got to go on the interstate, and that's it. And the test driver, who was in the passenger seat before, now is in the driver's seat and must hold his hands on the wheel at all times. Basically, Texas said, your driverless tech is garbage. It doesn't reach the class 4 required, and you're losing your ability to test your cars here. At the same time, the head of robotics quit. Their CFO quit. 2 board members quit. Their accountants quit. They released a video of the Optimus robot who's like, and they ask him, can I have a Coke? I can't get you a Coke. Well, I can take you to the kitchen. I'm like, oh, sure, take me to the kitchen. And it sits there, and it sits there, and it sits there, and it sits there. And the guy's like, can we go? Go to the kitchen now? Sure. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. But in that thing, it took about 4 minutes for that to happen. Their robot is garbage. Optimus robot is a piece of trash. It's basically, what was it? What was the Honda robot from like 20 years ago? Osimo or whatever. It's trash. Semi is trash. Cybertruck is trash. No one's ever going to see the new version of the Roadster ever again. The cheap $25,000 car was canceled. The Robotaxi is a 2-door garbage vehicle. I mean, let's say you got to get to the airport. All right, I got to get to the airport, and there's 5 of us. Okay. Hop in the Robotaxi. Oh, you got to move the seats forward and flop them over, and then, oh, it's a hatchback. It's a teeny little fastback, so we can't fit all of your luggage. Okay, well, we could take 3 of these and you can get to the airport. Like, there's no like functionality built into it. Do you know why London taxis look the way they do? You ever seen like London cab? All right. You ever seen one of these guys? These goofy ass dudes. It's a goofy ass looking car. Look at that doofus car. It's got stupid headlights, dumb grill. It's a dumb looking car. It looks like a weird like cartoon hearse. Do you know why it looks like that? Function. Pure function. You can fit a crap load of people and a bunch of luggage in there. Because people need to go places, right? Not only that, but the wheelbase is done in such a way they can make this really, really tight turn through the entrance of one particular hotel in London, which is this really tight turn. So you cannot get dropped off there because your car will not be able to fit around the roundabout. Let's see if we can find the roundabout. London cab design to turn hotel. I'll probably do it. The full U-turn, the forecourt of the Soho Hotel. That's it. So this is to be a London cab. You have to be able to do this turn right here.
Right. We're going to show the amazing versatility of the
cab
London
going
taxi
down
by doing
the turnout,
one full U-turn.
Very tight turn
in the forecourt of the Soho
only
Hotel.
The London cabs can do this, and no other car can. This is a purpose-built vehicle. It's not designed to be slick or sexy or anything else. It's designed to get people from point A to point B with their luggage and do so very smoothly, right? That's why it exists. It's not this sleek-looking little race car. That doesn't serve anyone's purpose as a cab. That's dumb. That's really, 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 really dumb. Elon's a moron. Engelhart, is that his name? Engelhart, the one of the founders of Tesla, the actual founders. He designed the Roadster. He designed models S, 3, X, and Y. He had those initial designs all done, all those models filled out, all the plans for production and robotics and everything else. That was all done by the original founder before Elon ever became in charge. So Elon took this company. They'd already had this game plan, like what we're going to do this first, this second, this third, this fourth, etc. And already had the plan. All Elon had to do was just execute the plans already made for him. Since then, since his run out of the stuff that whatever his name is, created, has been a disaster. Cybertruck, disaster. New Roadster, a disaster. Under $25,000 commuter car, a disaster. Robotaxi, a disaster. Optimus, a disaster. Where's the value in the company? It's going to be like Nokia when the iPhone came out. They're just not going to have market share anymore, right? They've not advanced the battery tech. All the battery tech they're using is all stuff that was designed 20 years ago. I don't see where the upside is on Tesla at all. Plus, Elon keeps doing Nazi shit. Just the other day, he was like retweeting and interacting with crappy Nazi people, and like in this day and age, man, you can't be a public Nazi and expect everyone to be like, you know what, I can look past that. I'm gonna buy your car. There's not. There's too many options out there. So they're gonna go get a Prius instead or something. Okay. Someone says, what's up with Sears? Is it tied to BBYGME? I don't think so. I don't know what's taken Sears so long. Sears is technically the longest corporate bankruptcy in American history. The reinsurance has over $35 billion in assets. So Transformco, which is the umbrella shell company that controls all this stuff, they have $35 billion, the reinsurance company. They have something like $15 billion in real estate alone, and only like $800 million left to pay off for creditors. So they have so much available to them to reemerge, and we're just like everything else, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm so sick of waiting. Just pay out one of these days, guys. That's all you gotta do. GDC. Has any CEO ever blown such a golden opportunity as RC is doing right now? People making fun of Pulte for starting on third base, but as CEO, Ryan started on like third base in 89 feet. The frustration is very palpable. I read the tweets every day from folks that are balls deep in this play. And they're like, when's it my turn? It's been 4.5, 5 years since some of these people got involved. When is it their turn? Right? If you aren't going to let us make $1 kajillion off an options play, at least make our stock worth a bunch of money. Like, do something, man. Do a crypto dividend. Do a cash dividend. Do an acquisition. Do something. I'm sure that the earnings report on Tuesday is going to be awesome. It is, because, they've got the We2 sales, right? They've got quarter one where they probably bought up just a boatload of stuff and fill up their warehouses, so they don't have to do much purchasing for quarter two, right? So they got that. Plus they have, $9.5 billion cash earning interest. So you're going to make, I don't know, $100 million off of that or something. I think that there's a long ways to go for them with the earnings. But at the same time, there needs to be a plan for growth. And all we've seen is just the shaving, cutting the fat, cutting the fat, cutting the fat, cutting the fat. We reserve the right to use cash for merger acquisition. Okay, well, grow. Grow. Do some growth. If you're waiting for stuff to bottom out, you got BBBY right there. It's already bottomed out. So just do it. Here's hoping they give out a Pokemon card dividend. And GDC, apologies to Europeans for baseball talk. Wait, we did baseball talk? Did I miss it? Or is it just in the future? Iglamon, RC is able to borrow again. Oh, sorry, we talked about that already. Michael Harrow, Houston. The TZero letter came from TZero, but did the McCabe letter come from Nextbridge Hydrocarbons? It's not on their website. I don't know the McCabe letter. Send it to me. Turkish says, not first, it's Turkish. Happy birthday, Wadowski. Time to feed the monkey butt some sticky stuff. Well, we're out of sticky stuff, so I gotta get some new monkey doos for her and show me the money. KUIP says, hey, Houston. Just Mammy, I used to do those said loans, Iggy. Oh, the loans for rich people against their assets? Yeah. Chris says, go birds and go monkey. Lone Wolf, I hear Elon created more powerful AI called Colossus. What could go wrong? Has he or anyone ever read the book or seen the movie Colossus, The Forbidden Project? Probably. He also probably played Castle Wolfenstein New Colossus and was like, that's awesome. And the Colossus is a giant, Nazi robot. That'd be my guess. Like, there's that old tweet. Torment Matrix. Yes. There's a tweet from Alex Bleckman here. And it's Sci-fi author. In my book, I invented the Torment Nexus as a cautionary tale. Tech company. At long last, we have created the Torment Nexus from the classic sci-fi novel, Don't Create the Torment Nexus. This is what they do. Elon, Zuckerberg, those guys read sci-fi, misunderstand everything in it and the messaging in it entirely, and go, I'm going to make that. And then they make the evil thing that the book warned them not to. And they're like, isn't that cool? They're the dudes who watch Star Wars and thinks Darth Vader was the good guy. They fundamentally do not understand art. But they love it. They love The Lord of the Rings. They love Star Wars. They love Blade Runner. You give them sci-fi, kind of the biggest nerds about it in the entire world. They'll watch Star Trek all day long and then miss the entire point of Star Trek. Star Trek is a communist utopian future race. That's what it is. And you can't ignore everything in Star Trek without understanding that basic point. That in Star Trek, the Federation provides for everybody. Everyone has income, a home, stuff. There's no markets. There's just nothing. That all they do now is work for the benefit of the goal of everybody else in their communities. That's it. That's the entire point of Star Trek. And then sci-fi stuff happens to the folks inside of that realm. But they don't get that. They don't understand it. They listen to Rage Against the Machine, they love it, and then they find out that Rage Against the Machine does not agree with them politically, and they're like, how did they betray me like this? Dude, you never listen to their lyrics once in your entire life. You listen to the beat and went, yeah, it's awesome. And that's it. They've always been like that. That's who they are. That's who they've been. They didn't betray you in any way, shape, or form. They did not change. You just fundamentally were not smart enough to understand what was going on. So yeah, he's got himself the Colossus. And 9 Cloud Deputy DoJ video AI as well. True Seeker. Interesting for a guy who's innocent to have a jet fly over so it interrupts the victim's speech. Oh, I did it to celebrate, Poland. The dude's inside the White House. He doesn't hear the jets flying over. He did not see it. Yeah, it's very sketchy. N9, can they withdraw their signature or support at any time? I feel they'll withdraw if it's about to get passed. We're talking about the discharge petition. I don't know. They still need, I think, last I heard, they still need 2 signatures to get it passed. So there's got to be a lot of whipping going on. Muley Woolhead, really don't. I think you're wrong on this. I think they're playing a part directed by the party and Trump. No way any of these people have a spine or moral line. That's also true. Mudkip says, yay, monkey butt. Bill Coyne, yawn, another day at the clown show. Yeah. Another wonderful secret. Trump was found guilty of felonies and found liable for sexual abuse that made conservatives love him even more. It really wouldn't matter to them if Trump flew Epstein Island a dozen times. No, it doesn't. Nancy Mace came storming out of the closed hearing on Tuesday crying over what she heard. She is a victim of sexual assault. She talks about it. It's fairly fresh for her. And then the next day she went, there's no way Donald Trump had any part to do with this. It's like, dude, they were best friends. They had nothing in common except for young women. That was it. That's the only thing they had in common was young women. I guess young women and money. Like Epstein didn't golf. He didn't do the things Donald Trump does. They just did young women and real estate. And then they fought over real estate, and that's why they broke apart. That's what broke up their friendship. It wasn't the young women that broke it up. It was money and real estate. So, in 9, SPY teasing all-time highs. How? AI bubble, man. Inflation. That's all I got. I gotta go on Monkey Butt. You're good on the floor. She's good on the floor. I'll see you folks tomorrow at some point. I'll purchase all my options for next week. I think by close tomorrow, and see you then. All right, everybody. Have a good day. And a third intro. Bam.